Hello, Kevin from Cobalt Glass Custom Works here. We are set up with our kiln. We have it on the stand. Right now we've got the shelf. We're going to kiln wash it. Always have safety equipment. You're dealing with dusts and powders, with glass especially. Have a mask, have some goggles. I don't have a hake brush with me, so this is an alternative. I did wipe the shelf down just to kind of get any dust off it. Kiln wash is glass like a powder. It mixes 5 parts water to 1 part kiln wash. So I put 5 cups of water, 1 cup of kiln wash. It does settle, so you want to make sure that you always shake the bottle. And if you have a container to put it in, then that's the best. We'll get a little container here, and then you pour our product into there, shake it up really good, and as you're using it, you're going to want to stir it because it settles like crazy. So mask is, we've already done the powder work. I'm going to put on goggles just in case any of this splashes. I'm wearing rubber gloves as well. Kiln wash, it came with the kiln, which is nice. We're going to go in a few layers, different directions. So what I'll do is I'll give you kind of a quick rundown of how I'm going to do it, and then we'll get it washed, and then I'll show you kind of the final look, and then we'll set up over by the kiln. We'll put the shelf in the kiln, and we'll get a piece of kiln paper ready on there, and we'll get ready to get something. We'll do a test, a few little odds and ends there, and see. So you want to just go in one direction. It's kind of hard to tell. It kind of just shows that it's wet. I'm going to go back and forth. This will be a coat. Make sure you give that a stir because it settles out very fast. And then we'll go along the edges as well. You want to go in a few different directions just so you make sure that it's coated very well. Just put a piece of cardboard down, have something to protect your work area. I'll do all the sides as well, or the edges I should say. Make sure. And then this will help if any glass, some people will fire directly on a shelf. I usually use the Papyrus paper. So we got that direction. And then I'll just show you quick, but give it time to dry in between. And then I'll go diagonal. I'll do it this direction. But this is just for demonstration. You guys can kind of get the idea. And then we'll let it dry in between coats really well. And I like to just kind of go back over, make sure I smooth everything out. And then what I'll do is I'll go this direction, and I'll go this direction, and then this direction, and then I'll go up and down. I'll do that, and then I'll let it dry in between coats. So what we'll do is we'll finish this up, and then we'll meet back at the kiln. So here we are, we have our kiln shelf. It's not dry yet. When it is dry, it'll look like that. Inside we have our 3 1/2-inch posts. They recommend 3 because if your shelf happens to be a little bit off in a corner, it's not going to rock for you. So this is very tight fit down in here. Go on an angle because there's a thermocoupler down inside there. You do not want to hit that. One way fits a little bit better than the other. did do is I also kiln washed the floor in here. And I came up to this line here, about 2 inches up. So you just kind of want to get that centered the best you can. Right down here is a thermal coupler, and that reads the temperature of the inside of the kiln. So you got to be very careful that you don't bump that. So basically now we're ready. Once that shelf is dry, we'll cut a piece of papyrus paper, which is a coated paper that doesn't allow your glass to stick to the shelf. So I like to use that. So the shelf measures 14.5 by 14.5. The pieces I have are 20.5 by 20.5. So we'll cut that to size and we'll set it on there. And then we'll get a few little pieces on there. We'll do a test full fuse just to kind of see what comes out of it. But in the meantime, we'll get the paper ready, and then I'll just kind of give you a brief rundown on how the controller works. So this is the papyrus sheets after it's all cut up. They come in a 20.5 by 20.5 inch piece. So what I've done is I've cut this to 14.5 by 14.5, and I'm left with two cutoffs. What I do with the cutoffs is I roll them up and I put them into a container. Never throw them out, because there could be jobs where you want to just fuse a few little small items. You don't need a full piece of paper. I do store them in a drafting tube, rolled up for the big sheets, and then just take them out, cut them down to size, and use them that way. Just still waiting for the kiln shelf to dry. May take about an hour or so, but anyways, we'll get some projects made up, and then we'll get things started.